applications. Okay, so if you are looking for shock absorbing and other things, you should choose a rubber or good flexible materials. Okay, and you have to choose whether you want metallic materials or non-metallic materials. So it's depend upon them only. If you want compressing property, you may use wood. Okay, so you cannot use for some other materials. Okay, so cost, aesthetic look, and the easy to machining, rework, and environmental conditions, where you going to employ, what type of load it's going to act, everything should determine what material you're going to choose for particular applications. Okay, so let me get inside. So strength, the ability to withstand applying force. Very simply saying that is called strength. So when you are applying the load or some shocking load or some stress, you should able to withstand. Suppose if you are choosing some material, it may have the capacity to absorb 500 megapascal, means at least up to 450 megapascal it should withstand. Withstand means nothing else. It should not undergo any changes. It should not elongate. It should not break. Okay, it should not produce some voids. It should not change the dimension, etc., etc. Okay, that's called strength. And elasticity, so whenever you are applying the force, it will absorb the energy and it will undergo some changes. When you are releasing the load, the energy will be given back and it will come back to original position. So nothing going to be happen. It's not a permanent deformation. So nothing going to be happen when you have elastic materials. Okay, so the most of the elastic material, when you are wearing any 3 by 4 charts, okay, those things in the hip we are using elastic materials. Okay, most probably, that's the best example. And rubbers having good elastic properties. And let me ask one question, which having more elastic property, mild steel, cast iron, or rubber?
Sir, mild
Which material?
steel.
Mild steel. Why?
Sir, because uh, sir, for the force applied, steel gets elongated more, but return. Sorry, sir. For the large force, it gets elongated, but it returns to its position. But rubber may break.
Mm-hmm. Rubber break. Okay. Okay. Somehow you have answered it. Okay. Accepting. Then plasticity. So it will also absorb the load, but it will go to permanent change.
Hello,
Okay.
sir.
So if you see in the metal forming operations, especially thin sheets, we are making using the thin sheets and we are making blank. Then we going for tube drawing, wire drawing, and plates, cups, teacups, etc. We are making, right.
Hello.
All those
Sir.
things are we have permanent what?
Sir, in that question, sir, mild steel can also break na, if we applied more force.
Absolutely, that's what I told. Breaking and other things. Okay, somewhat he chosen the correct answer. So up to that, I'm so happy. Okay, just leave it. So come back to plasticity. So in the manufacturing process, especially for metal forming, the property we call plasticity is very much important, because all the household equipments are small items like plates, teacups, tumblers, etc. We made it in from stainless steel and other metallic material. Still we are using. So that called permanent deformation. We are using small size of blank and we are making into record shape plate or tube, the tube or glass, teacups, etc. So if it is come back to original position, means it's very difficult to deform into record shape. Some small amount of spring back effect and other things will happen. We just throw it away, but we have permanent deformations. So when you are applying the load beyond this elastic limit, we will go to plastic limits where we have permanent deformation. Okay, upon keep on applying the force, means it will cross plastic properties and it will reach ultimate load. Then we have breaking, fracture. Okay, so our working area is just above the elastic limit and before its ultimate strength or breaking level. Okay, so during that level only we are going to do all the metal forming operation except one or two. Okay, so any other doubts with plasticity? Okay, now ductility, so the ability to deform into any shapes. Okay, so there is one more time will come and you have to tell what is ductility and malleability and other things. Okay, so tensile strength is used to find out the ductility of the materials. Not only that, we're going to check the ultimate strength. Okay, and we can also check the elongation at breakage, etc. Okay, if you want, you can produce yield strength for a particular material by applying the extensiometer. Okay, those things are very much important when you're going for metal forming operations. I think Kundal Manji sir is working with metal forming operations, and he may be expert with those things. Okay, so malleability, that means when you are applying the force, it will expand into all the direction equally. That is called malleability. And hardness, so resistant to wear. Okay, so do you have any other application in connection with hardness properties? Or any other work?
Sir, a material can be which is hard can be used to cut other materials which are less hard than it.
Okay, okay. So most of the time we were producing the components, but the outside we need a hard layer so that it can withstand some external forces and other things. So we are going for heat treatment, carburizing, nitriding, cyaniding. Okay, so those things are going to give the maximum hardness to the material in the surface level. Okay, so you may have the advertisement in your cell phone. You have the tempered glass, right? So in the tempered glass, he will say that 60, 70, 3D, something, something, something. You just go through that and check it out. What is those number and why we are using those numbers? Okay, it will be very much informative to you because every time you are using tempered glass and other things in your life, so learn it. Okay. And toughness, characters of material does not break or shatter when receiving the blow or under a sudden shock load. So toughness, how to identify the toughness of a material? Which test we want to do? Suppose if you want to identify the ductility of the material, we have to use tensile test. Okay, so for toughness, which test we have to perform?
Izod Charpy test.
Huh?
Izod Chirpy or Charpy, what's the name?
What is those test? I am telling tensile test. So what about those two tests? Tell me the common title.
Izod and Charpy test.
What is the title? That's keep on missing.
Sir, destructive test.
Destructive test. Okay, tensile test also coming under destructive test only. I am telling if you want to find out the ductility of a material, you have to engage your specimen with tensile test. Okay, for toughness, which test you have to do?
Impact testing.
Impact test you have to do. Okay, that is sudden load. The most severe load in the mechanical level is sudden loads. That is impact. Okay. Identify. And the conductivity, thermal as well as electrical conductivity. That also one of the properties, ability to transfer the heat from one place to another place. That is thermal conductivity. Electrical property also the same concept. Okay. And material selection, for particular applications you supposed to choose the materials. Okay, you should use the material selection charts and you have to check it out whether you need low cost or high cost, whether you want less weight material or high strength materials. Check it up the density, availability, maintenance cost, machining cost or production cost. You have to identify, then you have to choose. Okay, there are some examples I have shown in the foams. Okay, so top side and bottom side we have one heavy structure, in between we have foams. These types of foams are very helpful in automobile and aerospace applications because they can occupy some space without giving much more weight. Because if you in the foam means most of the gaps are filled with voids and which is also directly filled with air. Okay, for some filling some gap for the purpose only we can use, and we cannot expect much more strength. Okay, so those things are very much helpful when you're going to reduce the automobile self weight. Okay, not for any other purpose. Okay, so suppose if some places like turbine blades and rotors, we cannot use these foams because there we going to apply for heavy loads. torque, and thermal stresses, fatigue, creep will be taking place in the turbine plates, where we have to use high strength materials like Inconel and other things. Okay. For normal purpose, okay, floor area or seat backside covers, okay, normal handles. Okay, then if you're taking the buses for supporting, there's every 2 seats one, they will give 1 pillars, and those type of pillars we may use it by using this foam structure. Okay, that's why we can reduce weight. Or in the top side floor panel, we can use this type of structures to reduce the weight of the vehicles. Okay. So these are all some mechanical, physical, electrical conductivity. Okay, you're supposed to choose depend upon your choice. Okay, but cost is the major things which limiting the material usage and selections. Okay, I told you in the very beginning class, we having the mild steel everywhere because it is available everywhere and the cost also less. It can perform most of the operations without any difficulties. You can cast into any shape, you can readily weld, you can go for metal deformations. Okay, most of the manufacturing process we can engage. Suppose if you're choosing diamond or titanium or gold, they can also have, if titanium and gold also have good deformation properties, but cost is high. Welding and casting is so difficult with titanium. Okay, gold having good properties like elongations, ductility, and it is work against radiational level. Okay, but cost is high. Availability in the earth is also very difficult for gold, so we cannot choose that material. Okay, so a list of some non-ferrous materials are shown here, but those materials which shown in the red colors are upcoming slides. We're going to see its selected materials, not much more. Okay, so first one is the aluminium. So aluminium is lightweight. Okay, pure aluminium is less weight. It have good ductility, and we have more number of aluminium alloys. Aluminium alloys number may be start from 1000, 2000, 3000, etc. So it's depending upon the alloying elements. It was category whether it's 1000, 2000, 3000, etc., etc. Okay, so in the very beginning for making a metal matrix composite, I told you in the aluminium we have added a small amount of graphite. Okay, that increasing the wear property, or that means we are difficult to make the machining operations. After adding nearly 20% of graphite with aluminium. Okay, we have taken 80% aluminum and 20% graphite. We made we went to our foundry workshop, not here in my previous college, and we have mixed together. We made some cylindrical rod and we gone for tensile test specimen preparation, but we found that compared to usual time, you took more time to make it into dog phone shape. Okay, that's it's altering the property. Similarly, by altering the other properties like corrosion properties and other machining properties, etc., we made alloying element with aluminium, and it's starting from 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000, etc. These are all the series. Okay, each alloy elements have their unique properties. You just check it out which alloy is used for, or which alloys it is used for automobile construction. You cannot simply say that aluminium is using and the dura aluminum we are using, but you check it out. Except that what are the categories are available in the aluminiums, and tomorrow class you have to tell each one tell one properties, or each one tell one alloy category and their specialization. This alloy containing this as a minor element which increasing this property, and you have to give expression. And next class I think we have it in the Tuesday, so check it out and tell. And properties of aluminium, as usual, you know that it's very less weight. Okay, strength also it's having less strength. We cannot say that you have good strength when compared to steel and other titanium and other materials. Okay, and the major disadvantage of aluminium is they cannot work above 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, so when you are heating beyond 100 degrees Celsius, it's very difficult to maintain the same strength as like is in the room temperature level. So that we have some other materials called super alloys and high temperature alloys. Those nothing but titanium as well as nickel based super alloys. Okay, so and another one is thermal properties. Okay, so it's have a good expansion. Even though if you are making little heat, it will expand linearly. That's the property we don't want, because at some elevated temperature also we need a dimensional stability for some components or some materials or machining equipments. If it is elongated means it is not good. Okay, so that's what in the railway tracks we are keeping some space. Even though it's a cast iron, we are keeping some space. Okay, in future, maybe if the temperature is increasing beyond the design temperature, we may adjust, it may elongate and it will fill the gap. But if you are used as aluminum, it's very difficult. Okay. So machining is easy to machine, nothing to worry. It's the best materials. Formality also good for aluminiums, nothing to worry about aluminium. It's a good. You can deform it to any shape. You can make wire drawing, cold process, hot process, etc. etc. You can use it. It have good thermal conductivity and other things. And joining. So we can use friction stir welding and friction welding, but for arc welding techniques, it is very difficult to join aluminium. Do you know why? In arc welding process, joining aluminum is difficult. Do you know why?
So probably it melts. It has a huge melting curve. Probably it melts at varying temperatures. It softens.
So for welding
Sir, because
nearly
it form oxide layer and in DC
Mm.
current, oxide layer cannot be.
Mm. Second, most of the time it will get porosity. Even though you are going to use laser or alternative beam welding for aluminum joining, the formation of porosity is severe with aluminum. So after the joint, porosity is occupied means joint will not have much more strength. So dealing aluminum is very difficult. So that except all the manufacturing process, this welding is have to be take care. You have to choose correct welding process. And if you see the friction stir welding and other things, and that joining process, that is joining types also limited. You may go for butt joint, lap joint, but T joint is somewhat difficult when you go for friction stir welding. Okay, so that's it. Reflectivity, that means it can reflect the sunlight as like the glass, so you can easily watch it or you can give the signals for a very long time, not a matter. So our corrosion properties, they are having good, not an issue. Second one is the copper. Any other interesting matter with copper? Any other unknown factors, interesting matters with copper? Do you know any properties about copper?
Yes, sir.
it is very conductive.
Highly conductive, electrically conductive.
Okay. Thermal and electrical conductivity of these materials. Okay. What about the corrosion properties and other things?
It is corrosion resistant too.
Corrosion resistance. Okay. So do you know the Statue of Liberty?
Yes, sir. It was.
So what is the color?
Yes, sir. I know it was corroded. It's
Okay.
of green color now, but
Okay.
it was earlier. It was of
Mm.
this copper color.
It was built with copper material only. Since it was placed in between the sea, okay, center of the sea, it was got corroded and oxide layer has been made. So if copper is getting oxidations, it became blue color. So it became blue color. This is why Statue of Liberty looks like blue color. Otherwise, it will be in copper, golden color, that orange. That's okay. So what are the things it told is correct only. So it's having good electrical thermal property, good corrosion resistance. It having antibacterial properties. That's what we are using in medical field. Okay. If Vedatri Maharishi or some other yoga center, if we are going, they will sell some rings and jewels which is made from copper. And that's why our ancestors also used to store the food items in the copper vessels, okay, which can give a more antibiotic to our body. It is having good ductile, tough, non-magnetic, color is also good, okay, recyclable, etc., etc. So that's not a big expressions over here, okay. So alloys of coppers, copper plus zinc, tin, and nickel. So those things only we are using. Cupro nickel at something different materials, okay, used to for high performance. And brass and bronze, you know that, and we are using those things to make vessels, and bronze we are using to make medals and other things which having attractive colors. Okay, so do you know this guy? Tungsten.
Yes, sir.
So what is that property? Major property. There is two major properties we can express from
Very high
tungsten.
melting point. Very
High,
high melting.
High
Very
high
high.
melting point. Okay, then Second.
Sir, it emits radiation when heat white. It becomes white hot when electricity is passed through it in a vacuum.
Okay. Okay. So their melting point is so high so that it is very difficult to manufacture this component. Okay, so remember, so we have to use powder metallurgy process for manufacturing tungsten alloys and other components. Okay, since it have high melting point, it can be used to produce electrons and other things when we need X-ray tubes we are using. So whenever we need not only X-ray tubes, in scanning electron microscope also we are using tungsten filament. Okay, that's what and in the tungsten filament also we are using cooling circuit to cool down it and maintain some certain temperature. Okay, so that's the best applications. Second, if you're taking the cutting tools, it's have high density. That's a second major property of tungsten. Okay, it's high density materials, it's very hard. So we are using tungsten materials to make drill bits, machining tools, etc. Okay, and I told you while taking the class, hot hardness or red hardness. Okay, that's best suitable for the term is tungsten materials. Even though without cooling water, if you are doing machinings, when the till bit is going up to red color, after keep on observing the heat, it's became red color. Okay, so red color stage also, it will never change its shape. It will perform its duty very well. Okay, that is the property we call red hardness or hot hardness. That's the best suitable material is tungsten. Okay. So these are all the properties. It's high density. Steel is having 8. Titanium is having in between. Maybe aluminum having 2.5 or 3. But this one is 19. So it's very heavy. Okay. So you see the boiling point 5700 degrees Celsius. It's also heavy. Okay. So melting point about 3410 degrees Celsius. That also very high. Whereas titanium is the average material. We having 1660 degrees Celsius. And nickel alloys are nearby, and Inconel also just nearby, but this one is having more. Okay. Dental filament materials we are using, no problem. It's having good applications as we discussed before. You have X-ray targets. Yes, filaments also used as a emitting matter, and as well as the targets where the electrons are come and hitting the targets. After that only they are losing some energy. They are producing X-rays. That target also having some cooling circuit arrangement. Otherwise, keep on electron is hitting the target means they will reduce their heat energy, kinetic energy, and they will pass the heat to the target. Soon it will melt. Okay, so for that we are using cooling water, and don't be with blind eyes. This tungsten material can withstand up to all the operations. Okay, up to its melting point, it can withstand. Within that melting point, we can do whatever you want. Okay, if the operation is crossing beyond the melting point, means you have to put cooling circuits and other things. Okay, so and other applications of tungsten. Okay. So Thomas Alva Edison is stupid guy. He never gone to school. He don't know the material properties and other things. So he used trial and error methods. He's keep on changing from aluminum to tungsten, and finally he found that tungsten can withstand at the higher current. Okay, because it's having higher melting temperature. If he gone to school, if he studied very well, within one attempt he may able to choose tungsten material or other high temperature materials to put the filament inside the bulb. Okay.
Sir, if you would have gone to school, then this was not possible.
It is possible. Do you know Nikola Tesla? Do you know Nikola Tesla?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then tell me who is best.
Sir, Tesla is best.
Huh?
The Nikola Tesla is best.
So before doing anything, Tesla will do clear-cut drawing. Okay. He'll make nice design. Okay. Then he will fabricate, make one or two trial attempt. He will remodify the design. Always he is getting the success with less number of trials. But Thomas Alva Edison never gone to school. By his own experience and other things only he did. And most of the time Tesla did, he got the name. Do you know the famous director Shankar? Do
No,
you
sir.
know the famous Indian director Shankar?
Shankar Mahadevan.
No, Shankar, director. Did you see the film Robot 2.0?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So actually what Shankar will do, normally each and every directors, they will direct their own film. They may have one or two assistant. But for Shankar's film, he will gather 10, 15 directors, small directors. Okay. They are their colleagues only. He will do all the discussion with them. Then he will take final script and other things. That's what he is always succeeding. The Asia's biggest salary person was that Shankar, director Shankar. Okay. So similarly, Thomas Alva Edison did. Okay, leave it. So why we have to go and search a history? Okay. So next one is the titanium materials. And titanium materials, we have 2, 3 specific alloys. I'm telling the usage of titanium materials. So in previous days, in the olden days, people thought of using aluminum with human bodies to put some implants and replacement of bones. Okay, and other things. And later they found that aluminum materials are producing some allergy. They're producing toxicity when they are keep on contacting with blood and other cells. Okay, so they replaced and they started using stainless steels. Okay, so later they found that in stainless steel we have chromium content. That chromium content also going to produce something toxicity and allergic with the human tissues and organism. Okay, the blood also affected by their composition, chromium content. So they are searching for some alternate material. They finally found out titanium 6Al 4 vanadium alloy. Okay, so in this titanium 6Al 4 vanadium alloy, it have good corrosion resistance, but it have vanadium and aluminum content. So for people after long time usage, people found that vanadium is producing some allergic effect, toxicity, and not suitable for using human implants. They figured out. So then they searching for some other alternate material. They found that commercially pure titanium. Okay, that is very good for human implants. And nowadays, all the human implants are producing with commercially pure titanium. Okay, the titanium 6Al 4 vanadium strength is 1000 megapascal, whereas commercially pure titanium is 1/3 of its alloys properties, tensile strength. Okay, that means 300 to 400 MPa only it's having, but it's having good corrosion resistance. Now only we reach saturation level. I don't know if there any drawbacks are having or made with commercial titanium. Who knows? Maybe in future you can figure it out and you can develop some other materials. Okay. So it's a hard material, shiny, a strong material. Yes, I accepted. It's like stainless steel. Their appearance should be looks like stainless steel only. Because of the density difference only, we can take a difference between these two materials, stainless steel to titaniums. So titaniums are not preferred when you are thinking about cost. Okay, so if you are bothering about the cost, you can go with stainless steel material. Okay, so if you are thinking about lightweight, more reliability, okay, that means you should go with titanium. Don't go with stainless steel. It's the simplest difference between why we are moving to titanium instead of stainless steel. Okay, so it's have good corrosion resistance, nothing to worry. Good commercial titaniums have good ductile property as like stainless steel. And if you want going for alloys, it's having more strength, 1000 megapascal. And if you see the melting point of this alloy is 1660 degrees Celsius. It's also good enough to compare with stainless steel. Thermal conductivity also nearby only. So most of the properties are same as like stainless property, except 1 or 2 as I mentioned just now. Okay, so most of the applications, some visible applications over here, and those things are manufactured by commercially pure titaniums. Okay, and nickel, and we have the reverse version of copper, that is called nickel. Okay, so nickel is high density materials. Okay, if you're not believing me, just take the 1 rupee coin, you check how much weight it is. If you take the bottle caps of Pepsi or Coke, you check the weight and check the 1 rupee coins weight. 1 rupee coins will be more weight. So when you are in childhood time, we may have different size of 1 rupee coin, which is corroded and which is showing some brown color. And 5 rupees coin also, if you taken the very old coins, it will be corroded and it will show some brown colors here and there. Okay, now then people, our Indian scientists discovered that if you are using nickel alloys, it will be bright, shiny colors and it will be heavy, but it have good corrosion resistance. So we started printing our coins from nickel alloys. Okay. And another one, everywhere we are using immersion rod, water heater, right? That water heater also made by nickel alloys only because it can suitable for high temperature applications. Water is boiling 100 degrees Celsius, so the rod should have maximum temperature. So should have withstand maximum temperature more than 100 degrees Celsius. So we scientists are searching here and then they found out nickel alloy, that is nichrome, can be used as the best alloy for water heater and normal air heater arrangements. Okay, it's a good oxidation resistance. If oxidation is produced, just now only you told for aluminum material, oxide layers are producing, so it's hard to break oxide layers. Suppose aluminum have 600 degrees Celsius as a melting point, that oxide layers having the melting point of 2.2 times or 2.3 times higher than the base metals. Okay, so the same will happen with other alloys also. So it should not produce oxide layer even though it is exposed to elevated temperature with open atmosphere. So we finally figured out nickel alloy, that is nichrome, is the best suitable properties. Okay, so we are using that one. Nickel also have good thermal conductivity, electrical conductivity. It have high temperature applications as well as good corrosion resistance. Okay, so it's have bright silver colors. When you see in the 1 rupee coin, remember of this one. Okay, so nickel may be used with stainless steels. Okay, 304. 304 also used in boiler and pressure vessel constructions. Okay, nickel plus copper alloys, we are using these things, and Nast alloys and Inconel or alloys are used in boiler and pressure vessel constructions, and Inconels are very much useful for power plant applications where you can get high strength at elevated temperatures and good corrosion resistance at elevated temperatures, etc., etc. Okay, and I told about nichrome also. So these are all the very best super materials or super alloys which is used in our current scenario. Maybe if you have any idea, you may produce some other new materials in upcoming days. Okay, and then some applications and the usage of nickel alloys. Okay. So there are some questions I have. Okay, so each one choose one product and tell me what are the materials they have used. Each one take
Sir.
one.
So the immersion rod uses nickel, nichrome.
Okay. Okay. Then what
So the
about
winding
coke
coil
bottle?
uses copper.
Huh?
So the winding coil used in the right image is copper.
Okay. Okay. Then
Sir,
coke bottle.
Coca-Cola can is of aluminium.
Okay. Drill bait.
So
Drill
Hard
bait.
so tungsten.
Tungsten. Tungsten. Okay. Okay. Did small pipes in orange colors? The bottom
Sir,
side,
brass.
last image. Orange color tubes, pipes, cups, etc.
Copper.
Copper. Okay. Correct. You're good to go. Okay. Still, students, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Then we will close the today's session. Okay. Any other doubts or clarifications? We have missed some materials.
Sir,
And stainless steel we have missed. In upcoming class, we will exclusively see about stainless steel and categories. And don't forget, you have the assignments, that is small assignments. That is Monday, next class, you have to talk about the aluminum alloys categories, 1000, 2000, 3000, etc. We have alloy categories. You just check it out. What is the major alloying element and what will be the output, that what type of property is going to engage if you are adding that major element and what is its property. Each one take one and tell one alloy. Okay. Just tell me. Now, someone is talked. Someone is started talking. Who is that guy?
Hello.
What? Tell me.
Sir, is there any relation between hardness and strength?
Hardness and strength. Yes. Yes. Strength.
Okay.
If you are applying any forces, it should withstand without showing any breakage or changes. Hardness means wear resistance. Indirectly, we are measuring the wear resistance.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, there are two
Because
object A and sir, sir, there are two object A and B. So if A is cutting B, it means A is harder than B. Then, sir, it is necessary that A is also stronger than B.
you can't say that.
Huh?
You can't say that. See, for my harness, what type of test we are using? We are using Brinell, Rockwell, and Vikernes harness, right? We are just checking whether it is able to penetrate or not. We are using a round ball or diamond indent there to check whether it is able to penetrate or not. But for strength, we are going for tensile test, 3-point bending, etc. etc. We are checking what is the ultimate strength. How much percentage of elongation, other things. Okay. So any other questions?
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, again that question of rubber band and mild steel. Sir, please explain the
Okay, no
question and
problem. You
answer
just
also.
ask. We will justify
Sir,
up to
that
our best.
rubber
Otherwise,
band
we'll
and
refer some
mild steel.
textbook. Huh?
Sir, rubber band and mild steel. Please explain the question also and answer also, sir.
Okay, rubber band or mild steel or cast iron, which having good elastic property.
Yes, sir.
Which one having the good elastic property? Cast iron or rubber or mild steel? Just tell me. Figure it out and tell me which is having good elastic properties.
Sir, don't know.
Tuesday, you just give the solution to this question. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Because
Okay, sir.
this question is repeatedly asked in engineering service exam or GATE exam for 1 mark. Repeatedly they are asking. That's true. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Check it out and tell. Okay, students. I think I can close the class. If you have any doubt, just ask me. Otherwise, I will close the class. Let me check the MS team. So somewhat 36 students. Okay, let me download the attendance sheet. I have downloaded the attendance sheet again.